With my boyfriend, he wants me to cut off contact with his brother after brother defended me in an argument. Boyfriend 24M and I 21F have been together for 2 years. I have known his brother, who I will call Ray, for most of that time. We have always gotten on well enough. The whole situation started with my 21st birthday party. We had a party at home with 20 or so friends of family. Ray was of course present at the party, along with a few other members of BF's family. The party was going reasonably well. As it started to get later, I started to get a little tipsy, and most of the guests had started to go home. It eventually got down to a drunken little group made up of myself, boyfriend, Ray, and a couple of my girlfriends. We were sitting outside and one of my girlfriends decided to get on the trampoline. She managed to execute a pretty cool flip, and I expressed that I wished I knew how to do one. My friend talked me into giving it a try. I got up on the tramp, stumbled drunkenly and fell down laughing. Everyone else, except for BF, was laughing also. It didn't seem like much of an event until BF got up, muttered "fucking pathetic" in an angry tone, and then told me that we needed to speak in private. I was pretty confused as to what was going on, so I asked him why. He answered me with "just stop being a stupid cow for a second and come to the bedroom." Both of my friends and Ray looked pretty shocked at this, but before I followed BF to the bedroom, I told them it was fine and BF was probably just messing around. He can have a real temper sometimes, particularly after a few drinks, but I didn't think that would be the case in this instance, as literally nothing upsetting had happened. Cut to me and BF in the bedroom. He shuts the door and starts really going off. He tells me that I'm a disgusting drunk idiot and that I was showing off like some kind of pathetic wannabe by messing around on the trampoline. That I was an embarrassment to him and that I was to go to bed now and not leave the room until morning so that I would be more of an idiot in front of company. As this is going on, he is getting louder and louder and is slamming things around the room. I went to leave as I was quite upset at this point, but he blocks the door, so I sit down on the bed. Ray is banging on the door and tells BF to open in. BF goes out into the hall and I can hear he and Ray arguing. Next thing I know it, Ray comes into the room and says to go with him. I was sobbing like crazy at this point, because I hate confrontation in general, so I just nod and go with him. Ray makes sure my other friends have left and then we both get into a taxi. I don't know where BF has gone, but he is still in the house somewhere. I'm crying a bunch in the car and don't say much, but Ray calls his and BF's mother and gives her a brief rundown of what happened. We got to Ray's place. He lives with a couple and they were all really nice. The girl roommate lent me some stuff to sleep in and Ray told me to take his bed and he would sleep on the couch. I was kind of all over the place but eventually got some sleep. Next morning I got up and had coffee with Ray and one of his roommates. Ray asked if BF had behaved that way before and I let him know about BF's temper but explained that he had never blown up over something as insignificant as me mucking around on a trampoline. I asked Ray if he thought maybe I did or said something that might have upset BF and didn't realize due to being tipsy, but Ray said no, and that BF's behavior was unacceptable. I felt silly and embarrassed, especially knowing that and my friends had heard everything BF had said, and I told Ray I had better get home and try to sort things out. Ray said that he wanted to stay at his place for just a bit longer to calm down, and that he would really rather prefer that I didn't go home straight away as BF could still be angry. I gave in and hung out there with Ray and his roommates. We all just played video games and got some takeout, and I ended up feeling much better afterwards, so I'm glad I stayed. Early evening I told Ray I should really go home. I didn't have any of my clothes and more importantly I needed my stuff for university the next day. He drove me over, but didn't really want me to go inside. I told him it would really be fine and promised I would call him if anything happened. He agreed but said he would wait outside for a few minutes just in case. I got inside and BF wasn't home, so I told Ray to go and went about tidying up from the party. BF eventually rocked up and seemed calm enough. I told him I thought we needed to have a talk and he agreed. We sat down on the couch and I explained to him that I didn't think the way he spoke to me last night and asked for an explanation. His response was, "I will discuss that with you after you delete Ray's phone number. You won't be speaking to him again." I was confused as all hell at this and asked what that had to do with the matter at hand. He told me that Ray disrespected him by interfering in our relationship and that we were cutting ties with him. He told me he wouldn't discuss anything else about the night before until I did that. I told BF I thought that was pretty unnecessary and that Ray had been trying to help me because BF was acting really threatening and that I would have probably done the same in Ray's shoes. Well, BF did not like that. He yelled, called me some names and left the house. After a few hours he sent me a text. "I am sorry for yelling, but you need to respect what I want if you want the same in return. This can't be one-sided. Delete Ray's number and we will finish the conversation. Love you." I replied that I needed a little time to think and said I would be sleeping in the spare room when he got home and to please leave me some for a while. I went to bed, heard BF come in very late. He opened the door to the spare room and turned the light on, but as I woke up he just walked out of the room and slammed the door. So this morning I've woken up, BF is at work and I have a text from RAR, it says, "Hey OP, I hope you're okay. Look what BF did the other night is really not alright and I think you should get out of there for a while. I've talked to name and it's totally fine for you to crash here until you figure out what you want to do. So that leaves me where I am now. Don't know what to do about the situation. Do as BF asks and cut contact with Ray, or take Ray's offer of some space away from BF to clear my head. My worry is that if I stay at Ray's that will destroy any chance of fixing things with BF. Advice very much appreciated. Edit. When I was able to come back and check on this post I was amazed at the enormous amount of comments and messages I received. There has been a lot to catch up on and I am reading everything. Thank you to everyone has given their advice. It has cemented the decision I've already made about getting out, but quite a bit has happened in the last day, so I will be doing an update for anyone who is curious. I will try to get it up in a few hours. Again, thank you to everyone who has commented or messaged me. I'm truly touched by all the helpful and caring responses I've received. Update. Hi everyone. First of all, as I said in my edit on my original post, I want to thank everyone who offered advice and support. I was amazed at the huge response I got, and while I couldn't reply to every comment, I did read all of them. After Ray texted me, I replied to him asking if he had known my BF to behave like this with other girls in the past. Over the course of many texts it came out that he often yelled at and belittled his previous girlfriend in front of others, and some of his friends and family had suspicions about how far he was taking it. After the breakup, the girlfriend posted some stuff on Facebook about how BF had hit her, said awful things to her and did other things like spying on her and deleting people from her phone behind her back. Initially when this happened, Ray and his parents questioned BF, but he insisted that the physical abuse accusations were not true and that his ex was saying those things to cover up the fact that she had allegedly cheated on him. BF admitted to yelling at her, but he told his family that she did the same and just as often. His family eventually accepted that, but Ray and his parents were always wary of BF's behavior, and Ray in particular had made a point to keep an eye on things. BF's ex apparently had also called Ray around 6 months after myself and BF had gotten together and asked him to help me if anything happened. At the time Ray was not quite ready to believe BF would physically abuse anyone, but he told her all the same that he would watch out for me or any other girl in the future. Ray told me that after the way he saw BF behave at my party he became more convinced that BF was likely to get physical, and that was why he chose to step in. He also told me that even if it didn't go that far, I should not put up with how BF treated me. I agreed. What Ray had told me, and all the information and support I received here had me pretty convinced that I was not in a good situation. I decided to go and stay with Ray and his roommates for a short time. I don't have too many other options for accommodation this urgently. My parents live too far away and the few friends I could stay with are other girls with enough on their plate, and I didn't want to risk bringing this drama to their doorsteps. In retrospect, I'm glad I chose to go to Ray's, because I feel like what followed could have been even more frightening and dangerous if only myself and another girl had been present. I didn't have much time to get my stuff together before BF was due to arrive home, so I packed a few bags of essentials and valuables, along with my school things, and picked me up. I left a note at the house for BF I was leaving and that I did not plan on returning, other than to retrieve the rest of my things. I didn't tell him where I would be staying and that I would rather he didn't contact me directly, suggesting he communicate through his mother instead. I got to Ray's and got settled in. While choosing to leave was difficult and I had a few bouts of crying, I also felt immensely relieved. Ray/BF's parents came around and brought some dinner. They were incredibly nice about everything and told me I had to do what was best for me. We always got along well, but I never expected them to be so kind and supportive given the situation. Halfway through dinner, my phone rang. It was BF. I did not want to answer it and everyone else agreed that was probably a good idea. After my phone rang out, Ray/BF's mum's phone began to ring. Predictably enough, it was BF calling. His dad answered the phone. The phone was not on speaker, but BF was loud enough that you could hear him yelling down the phone. I couldn't tell exactly what was said, but his dad was telling him to calm down and not to do something. BF hung up on him, and Ray/BF's dad told us BF was coming to Ray's place and saying this was all Ray's fault. Ray started to get a bunch of text messages from BF making threats and telling Ray that he knew I was there and Ha was coming to get me. Ray replied to him saying that if BF came here and caused trouble he would be calling the police, but BF ignored him. BF showed up at Ray's probably 15 minutes later. He drove up the lawn and almost hit the letterbox, and got out of his car and started yelling. Ray and his dad went out while I stayed in the front room with his mum. BF yelled for a while and was kicking at random parts of the garden. BF started to yell towards the house that he knew I was there and to come out. I wasn't planning on coming out at all and Ray told him to leave. BF ended up running around the side of the house to the back patio entry. The screen door was locked but the solid back door wasn't, and he started hitting the fly wire trying to break it. He kept yelling into the house that he knew I was there and that if I didn't come out, he would destroy all my stuff and log on to my school accounts and cause problems on there. Ray and his dad caught up to BF and started pulling him away from the door. BF started throwing punches and his mum and I both went out to the inside of the back door because we were worried someone would get hurt. BF saw me and started trying for the back door again, and saying if I didn't get in the car he would end himself. His mum said she was going to call the police. BF/Ray's dad ended up hauling him out to the front yard and told him to leave. BF did eventually get into the car. He spun his wheels and tore up the grass and drove off. I felt pretty awful after all that. His mum and dad were both visibly really upset and Ray's rental property had been messed up and I felt responsible. They were still so nice about everything though. They really are wonderful people. I spoke to the police and they said they would be speaking to BF about what happened and I got some advice about obtaining a VRO and making sure I could find a way of retrieving my stuff from the house, so that is all okay for the moment. The latest news is that BF has been all over Facebook saying that Ray and I had been having an affair and posting all these random cropped blurry corn pictures from the internet saying it was us, and that he had caught us in the act. None of us are responding to any of it at this point, haven't really decided what to do there. My plan is to stay with Ray for now. It's still my best option and Ray has said he won't leave me alone at the house in case BF comes back. Either he or his male roommate would be there. We also spoke to a couple of the neighbors that Ray is friendly with and they said they would keep an eye out for his car or call us if they saw anything dodgy. I'm at a bit of a loss as to what to do next. I'm planning to talk to my uni about getting into student housing. I'm planning to go out tomorrow to buy some pepper spray also. I'm tossing up about reaching out to BF's ex, but I'm not sure if that will cause more problems for everyone. So I suppose that's it, for now at least? I'm sorry that this was a bit of a novel, but I know a lot of people wanted an update and considering how nice everyone has been I wouldn't want anyone to worry that I had gone back/stayed with him. Rest assured that is totally out of the question. The more I think about things that happened within our relationship with this new perspective, the more I realize how fucked up some of those things were. Again, a huge thank you to everyone. I'll do my best to keep up with the comments and respond to any PMs.